Once again, it's the boys on the hill. Slim Marshall, 5,000 watts. Thomas Black, and hey, the ugly one, Ralph Jeezy.
What's happening?
What's up, fellas?
Got Slim with no hat, looking like a do the right thing extra.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Power to the people, man.
Did you just step on my fresh Air Jordan sneakers?
Radio Raheem.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Also played Dean Big Brother Almighty. School Days. Did you ever see School Days, Slim? You ever watch School Days?
I saw it. I saw School Days, Do the Right Thing, all those mid-90s.
Sweat blood until you sweat blood, sweat blood until you sweat blood. Okay.
Hey, real talk. That was one of the first little things that the little first experience I knew what a black college was through that movie, man. Do the School Days, man. What?
So you didn't watch A Different World? Or
yeah, but School Days was first.
It was first?
Yeah. I don't remember which one first. I just watched both of them.
Man, Different World. I got a good memory, man. Different World probably came out what, 89, maybe 90.
Yeah, maybe 90.
School Days was 80, 86, 87, 87.
I just know I shouldn't have been watching School Days, but I watched it.
Hey, man. School Days was it, bro.
Because a real man is a gamma man.
I watching that house party, man. All that stuff, bro.
Ain't nobody.
Hey.
Yes, it is.
I actually still would like to have a bucket list of having a pajama jammy jam as a DJ. I still want to do that one time before I get out of here.
Go ahead with your bad self, then.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, but you know, I'm pushing 40. You know, 40-year-olds in pajamas probably they. I don't know.
New 30, man. Go ahead.
I don't care about all that.
Got to end at like what, 9:30, 9:35?
Bro, I don't know. my knees at 30 felt like a lot better than my knees do at 40.
You know what I'm talking about, man? So, you know, if I did anything like that, it had to be probably somebody else's party or something. I just throw that idea out there. But I don't see myself ever being able to do that again. Or even do something like that. I don't know. I might try to pull it off, but you know, we more of a dress up at this time of day and age, I guess. No skinnies though. I won't be in the skinnies. I can't do that.
You trying to go to prom again, man? That's what you trying to do, man?
No, I didn't want to go to prom the first time. I ain't kidding. Hey, what is okay? What is the deal with that? A grown prom? Is that for the people who didn't get to go?
Bruh, I don't know, man. I don't
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't.
At that point, just color the ball, man.
I know I wear my JSU wool jacket, but that's like somebody walking around with they high school Letterman jacket. I gotta let that stuff go.
Nah. I had this idea, man. I think it'd be dope. I think it'd be dope to have a haters ball though.
A what?
Haters ball.
As I sip out of my drink that I'm sure one of you haters spit in.
One of you. I hate you and when everything bad happened to you too. Just crazy, man. Chappelle. We know all the lines of the Chappelle show because we watched every episode on the bus on road trips.
Every road trip was Dave Chappelle.
All right. Man, we crazy.
Right,
let's go, man.
Go ahead.
Get us going, Slim.
Yeah, so enough of 90s Black empowerment movies and Dave Chappelle. We're going to move on to actual college baseball talk. And the weekend presented a lot of, once again, intriguing results. Not too many sweeps as there were last week, but there were some teams that started to kind of distance themselves in conference races and in division races over the weekend. You see a Prairie View had a big time weekend going 3-0.
That was huge.
Jackson State. We thought they had turned the corner, but they did not turn the corner in their weekend series this weekend. But fellas, the big news, I guess, coming out of the weekend was last Friday night. Our guy, we talked him up pretty heavily, was Shemar Page throwing a perfect game against Alcorn State, a 7-inning game. That was the big news out of the weekend. But aside from that, like a lot of series, you kind of saw the separation between the schools, especially coming down the stretch of the last few weeks. So, boys, what do you make of what you saw this weekend?
Hey, man, Prairie View came out this weekend, and man, they scored a bunch of runs. They scored over 40 runs over the weekend against Pine Bluff, in a weekend sweep. And man, Braden Johnson, the kid had a weekend, man. Christian Mendez, Zachary Trevino, Demaris Smith. You know, it was just a total team effort with them getting that sweep over the weekend. You had the same young man that beat Southern earlier in the year, Robert Maldonado. He picked up the win on Friday night. Michael Dews picked up the win on Saturday before Derek Curry, closed it out on Sunday. But, Prairie View seemed like they've hit a good stride. They're 12-4 in conference. And, that West with Grambling starting to play well, I think it's going to be interesting. Texas Southern is still in there. So I think it's going to be hot going, as I said, getting hot in here. So, who knows what might not go on, man.
Yeah, like you said, man. I mean, it's both divisions, man. It's pretty tight race right now. Prairie View sitting on top of the West, and Alabama State sitting on top of the East. But here you got Bethune-Cookman and FAMU sitting in second and third place. But then you got Jackson State is just 5 games out from third place. So you still got time to make it up there. And then on the West, you got Grambling and Southern making up the second and third place. But then you got Texas Southern that's only a game behind Southern for third place. So it's like it's going to come to the finish line. The last series is going to really determine who's going to make this tournament. But it's heating up. It's heating up. Not looking sloppy as much as it was at the beginning of the season. Playing some efficient baseball. We've seen it as a hitter's league. But at the same time, we getting some good pitch performances. And shout out to Grambling State for honoring Mr. Page also. That they actually gave him a plaque and honored him the day after. They ain't waste no time. And that's how we supposed to treat our black athletes when they make accomplishments like this. I think we was discussing yesterday, Slim. You said it was hard to find any other HBCU pitcher that actually threw a perfect game. Is that correct?
Yeah, we went back to like 1959. As far back as the NCAA records went, and Shemar Page is, as we know right now, the first and only Division I black college pitcher to throw a perfect game.
Yeah.
The last one before he did it was in 2019 by a Power 5 school pitcher, but Shemar Page is, as we know now, the only HBCU pitcher to ever throw a perfect game. So it only goes to show you like just how remarkable that accomplishment is. I mean, he's up there among the country's leaders in strikeouts this season. He only had 98 after his performance on Friday night. I mean, also hitting well over 300 at the plate too. So he's going to be the runaway winner for SWAC Player of the Year, I would think. I mean, Ralph. I mean, like we talked about him a lot. Thomas too. Like, I mean, this kid's been very impressive. Like all season long. A transfer from La Tech. He's fit in right nicely in the SWAC so far.
A grown man.
I just wanted to take that time for everybody, just people out there to understand there's a difference from a no-hitter from a perfect game.
Yes.
I mean, when you look on the scoreboard, you see zeros all the way across, all frames, all boxes, everything. That means nobody on the opposing team had anything going at all. That's a remarkable thing to accomplish as far as a picture, period. No matter if you're black, white, anything, as part in the game of baseball, a perfect game is one of the hardest things to accomplish. Almost as hard as hitting for the cycle for hitters. So I just want people to understand the magnitude of what he has accomplished with that game. Regardless who it was against, it's the game of baseball, and it's hard to be perfect in the game of baseball, which is based off human error. You know what I'm saying? You can be a Hall of Famer in baseball by hitting 300. That means you mess up 7 times out of 10. You know,
Right. And
so being
quarterback mess
perfect.
up 7 out of 10. He done.
Yeah. So the important thing is recognizing, how hard it is to be perfect or to throw a perfect game in the game of baseball at all levels. At all levels. So I just want to say congratulations to the young man. And as far as the rest of the SWAC, is like I've been saying all year. Um, Everybody's still kind of beating each other up. You know, only a couple of sweeps this week. Like I said, once again, it's all corn. But your usual suspects is not your usual suspects this year. I mean, you know, Southern, which was a team that's known to always be on top, they won the SWAC last year. They're in the middle of the pack, just like Jackson State is in the middle. Um, Bethune-Cookman, they're still in the hunt. They're still battling every week. They can't mess up anymore. There's no more room for error. So it's setting up a great leading up to the tournament. But my weekend was focused on the young man throwing a perfect game, and they kind of like took over for me. Like and I saw the score, but when you say he threw a perfect game, oh, that's a whole nother level right there. Um, what classification is he? Is he in the
He's a
And
grad
He's a
grad.
student.
tran
grad
he's a
grad
grad
transfer?
Transfer, yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all think he got a shot to make it to the next level?
I
On
think
the
so. I
bump.
think somebody
I
will give
think
him a shot
I think he got a chance of getting drafted on the bump. Yeah.
in the bump.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
But
hope he keep going hard. You know what I mean? But like I said, I would like to see what ends up after this year if somebody's gonna take a chance on him, because I believe he might be a pretty good player if
I
he's
agree.
healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
just pretty hard to ignore a guy who's among the country's leaders in strikeouts instead of a 300. I mean, like if a team can't find at least a draft slot for him, I know the draft has been shortened now over the last couple of years in terms of rounds, but like that's a kid you at least want to see in the camp somewhere.
yeah, draft
Also
day
over the
getting
weekend, something that occurred to kind of close to home to us is Omar Johnson, head coach of Jackson University. He won his 500 game. They split it up ahead of last Saturday. They got a win over Alabama State in their series, but Coach Johnson was one of a very few black head coaches in history of NCAA baseball to reach that prominent milestone. And I know we did a show last week where we invited a lot of his former players to come on and talk about how much he meant to them and kind of like how he kind of like defined the JSU program during his 16 years on campus, right? He's been head coach there. Um,
Yeah.
all of us came along. He was an assistant when he first started out in his early 20s. Like now he's been the guy there for 16 years and has won 500 games. So guys, what do you think about that accomplishment that a guy that we know and respect so much?
That's a major accomplishment, man.
well,
Not just in terms of HBCU baseball, but in terms of college baseball, period. Because it shows that you have to be consistent. Like that's not a number that you just hit. You have to be consistent for a number of years to get to that point. And that
Right.
shows that, you know, um, it was some coaches that have been that coached in our league for over 20 years and they didn't get to that point. So to see him do it under that point, under 20 years and still have more years to go, he has a chance to potentially catch Coach Kadar and Coach Brad in terms of win if he can stay consistent like he has.
Yeah,
I agree.
me personally, man, it's like I didn't, you know, my high school coach this past week also celebrated his 500th win. Now, my high school coach, it's still a different level, but at the same time, it's the amount of games played and how fast he was able to accomplish the 500. Now, My coach has been coaching several years before I played for him, and him and Coach Johnson hit 500 around the same time. So, um, consistency, having a lot of wins, you know, reshaping the program. Um, that I didn't realize how huge it was till I compared it to getting notifications about my own high school coach reaching 500 wins, and I'm like, well dang, Coach Johnson doing it too. It ain't been
Mm,
that many years. It also shows my age as well, but you know, to be able to reach 500 wins so quickly, it's almost I wonder how far he's gonna go. Um, hopefully all at Jackson State, but I just wonder what's going to be his final number. I'm interested to see.
And we got to see what coach is also close to a milestone. If anybody's close to 100, 200, 300, something like that, I
yeah,
start researching that.
yeah.
Yeah. So about Coach Johnson, like, what makes him, I guess, kind of the leader, and maybe in a lot of ways the tactician that we kind of know and are familiar with. I mean, like, he's always stressed, small ball, putting pressure on teams, things like that. So we've all observed him over the years. What kind of makes him stand apart from some of the guys you played for or against in your career?
Mm. I'll
It's
say the person that he is first. He real authentic, man. I think the way how authentic he is and the way he approached the game. I had you know how you had them raw coaches and you had these different type of coaches, but then you had Coach Johnson that know how to meet. It grows. It shows basically in his coaching that he's able to reach players at their level because he's been there, done that, or thought about that, or done been there, and just to be able to reach the kids at that level and help them grow, and because he reached us and helped us develop, day and night, and it's just the work ethic and the discipline that that he puts in. Because like you said, Thomas, what he had us putting in on that field, just to think about what we was doing in that field, and now look at where he at now. You know, he ain't got to do as much work, but he still got to do work. But
Right, right.
just think he ain't been there that long, man. He ain't been there since tore down the original what I call Brady Field. So and I know he looked over the period of time. Then I think it was dope too that Coach Brady was out there when they honored him over the weekend too. I think that was real. That was real good. Coach Johnson, he don't like awards and all that stuff. You can tell it kind of in body language and stuff. But at the same time, that was a great accomplishment for him.
right. I just say his work ethic, man. He's the first one at the field, the last one to leave, and he's there every day. So you can't cheat work, and he's a person that believes that, and you just see it in the way that he operates if you ever get around him.
Yeah. For me, to be honest, like before I got to Jackson State, I really didn't have too many teams I cared to win for, or whatever the case may be. But he helped me. He helped me realize, you know, I hated to lose more than wanting to win. And I kind of, you know, I didn't know how to win, at first, but I being around him, I learned how to hate losing, if that make any sense.
Yeah,
I mean, in baseball it's an individual sport. Um, my main objective was to, you know, go to college and play baseball. So long as I put in my work, did my 2 for 3, 2 stolen bases, no strikeouts, no errors in the field. I didn't care if we lost by 20. Well, no me, But when I got to Jack State and I got around y'all and the coach and everything, it that was the first team I really didn't want to lose. Because if you lose, when you're in the SWAC, you got to hear it. They talking stuff the whole game. chanting, got little songs. I wasn't used to all of that, but being
Shoot.
around Coach Johnson, I learned how to. Well, I hated to lose a lot more than winning. If that make any sense out there to the people, but yeah, that's one thing he kind of taught me is he hated to lose, and I think that's what I realized that it was me not wanting to lose versus me wanting to win.
Yeah, Coach Johnson definitely was a guy who's a grinder, I would say, and he really put a lot of emphasis on like winning every pitch, winning every inning, in addition to winning every game, and like whatever the result was, I mean, like it would just move on to the next game because the next game was just as important. But yeah, like I mean, like he's gonna have many more opportunities to add to his total of wins, and we commemorate him for everything he's done for us and for Jackson State and for just the game of black college baseball in general. But moving on now, we're going to talk about a series that's probably right now is going to be the series of the year in black college baseball out of the SIAC. We talked a lot about one of these teams, not so much about the other. But Savannah State this weekend is going to play Albany State.
Oh,
yeah, they
They
have the two best.
already played last week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
They
tight.
already played. It was
They had a
tight.
tight series last week. These schools have the two best records in the conference. Both schools over 25 wins. Savannah State has 30 wins right now on the season.
Your boy Pillar came back big this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a barn burner, boys. How do we handicap this one going into a big time weekend of baseball on that side?
is this series happened already, Slim? Savannah State and Albany played. Savannah won two out of three.
Yeah.
And they secured the regular season SIAC championship. Listen to the top three. Savannah State 24-2. Albany State 21-5. Spring Hill 19-4. That's how the regular season ended in conference records. With Spring Hill being 32-12, Savannah is 31-10, and Albany State 25-11. And Miles College is also right there too, with 18-8 conference record. This thing, this tournament right here, we talking about the SWAC tournament wide open.
Yeah, this one is too.
The SIAC tournament is gonna be wide open. Yeah, Savannah State has beat up everybody in the regular season. I want to see them win the tournament too. But looking at how close this thing really was with them being that dominant, this still was a close conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Johnny Holstaff gonna have to come through. Period. For anybody.
Yeah, so what's going to be? I mean, even though Savannah State's going to be favored because how dominant they've been all season, like what's going to be the difference between? Let me ask this: are y'all taking Savannah State or the field?
I'm gonna go with Savannah State.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Savannah State, even though tournament ball is different. Tournament ball is different, but at the same time, Savannah State has the pitching style. That's the thing. That's the thing. Savannah State has the pitching style for regular season play and for tournament. They've been building for this.
26-2 is the record between they started rotation. 26-2.
And to be honest, we talked about this earlier this season, man. But like we said, Savannah State to me has the best HBCU's pitching staff this year. You get me on wax saying that 5,000 watts, but that's.
I mean, but it's but like now as far as a 1-2 punch, well, they got a 1-2-3 and a 4 punch. God.
Yeah, he has a
yeah.
Bro, when you build your team based off MEAC principles,
they are deep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you can go down the line of the SWAC. They got a 1-2 punch, maybe. A couple teams got a good 1-2 punch, but nothing beyond that.
Hey, we can't. Hey, we talking about Savannah and Albany and them too, but hey, we still can't forget about Kentucky State and Miles because they can put up runs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They can hit. And if it comes to a situation, we know how tournaments can get. All it takes is as we say, the right matchup,
Mm-hmm.
a lightning strike somewhere, you never know what might not be happening in the game. Like, for real, think about it. I can take you back right
situations,
now.
butts get tight.
I can take you back. Anybody that know anything about the 2000 SWAC tournament that was held in Jackson at Smith Wills knows that Southern and Grambling that year were by far the two best teams in the conference. Both of them won over 30 games that year, lost less than 20 games. They were loaded. Southern and Jackson State, I'm gonna say, and Grambling were loaded. Southern messed around and lost in the opening rounds like Pine Bluff or somebody. Jackson State caught the weaker draw. Let Grambling do some of the dirty work on the other side. Jackson State and Grambling met in the championship game. Jackson State ended up winning the tournament in the second game of the championship series. Who knows what happens? It's all about matchups in the tournament.
Man, you can go buy off our last SWAC tournament. Texas Southern won. I mean,
bro.
Yeah, that one.
The 4 seed, and they won it. The first time, and that's crazy. The first time either Jackson State, Southern, or Grambling didn't win the tournament was in 2004. Where one of them 3 schools wasn't a SWAC champion. Think about that. How long the SWAC had been around for baseball. And only 3 schools had won the championship up until Texas Southern did that year.
That's whack, man.
So we talk about this a lot in sports about like postseason play and how it's different than regular season play. But college baseball is different in terms of like tournament style of game. What makes it different and why is it so difficult for oftentimes the favorite to ease on through the tournament like they did the regular season?
I mean, every game is 9 innings. Hard. Every single game. You know,
every game.
That makes a difference, you know. Like, I went to the SWAC tournament last year, and you got to have pitching that can go into every game as a 9-inning game. That's a long game, to be honest with you, man. 9 is a long game. I mean, yeah. So, me personally, I think is every player being prepared to play 9 full innings of tight baseball, no mistakes, no errors. You know, make the routine plays. Hey, that's hard to ask out of a kid, man. That's hard.
Well, for me, I think the tournament, everything in the tournament is magnified. So that 2-out walk that ends up scoring is magnified now. That runner that didn't score that you left stranded in scoring position is magnified now because it's tournament play. It's no tomorrow. It's win and advance. It's no tomorrow.
And think about it, Ralph. That one run could have came in the first or second inning, and y'all lose 1-0, and you going 7 straight innings of watching the scoreboard, nothing changing.
That's what I'm saying. And it's some guys on the bump who they turn it on and hit a different level in the tournament. Some guys at the bat turn it on. That tournament is just a different monster. Like, you have to be mentally prepared to go out there and play high level baseball every day because you hit the losers bracket. Now you got to focus to come out of that losers bracket, and you always had to keep a positive mindset. And you really have to be even keel in the tournament because you could jump out early in the game and the team make a run. You got to respond and put that fire out. If not, they're gonna come back and kick your butt.
Then you got to factor in if you lose, you might play late at night and got to come around and play early in the morning next day.
Yeah, all that matchups, all that in the tournament make a difference.
You know, I slept on the floor. They were rough, Slim.
Doing tournament.
They were rough.
And
please let us have continental breakfast.
Since we're talking about on the topic of the tournament, I was thinking about this. All right, so y'all know we've been seeing the NBA start incorporate this play-in tournaments for the lower seeds. Will we see that going into baseball? Because I ain't gonna lie, I like because is it really, to be honest, it's more of a money making scheme for the NBA. because it gives them an extra game.
You
You
talking
mean
about
for like the
college
conference
baseball?
tournament or like for the NCAA tournament?
No, I'm talking about for just conference play. Give them
Oh,
Playing
the
no,
lower
tournament for
seed.
the conference?
Yeah.
Well,
So say you
I
have
wouldn't do it.
the
That's
3 and
tacky.
4 seed played out for the last seed.
I wouldn't do it. That's a waste
I
of
mean,
time.
like that's
To
kind of
me,
what
it
like the
devalues the
conference like regular
season.
season is for, though. Like to
Yeah.
make that determination. Like,
Yeah, I think it devalues the regular season to come down and then say, now, well, you did this, now you still I think
no, that's too much.
Now, back in the day, they did used to have, when it was the 32 team regional, they did have the play-in series for those lower seeded teams to
Now
see
for
who was
something
gonna
like
get
for the
in.
regional, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that for the regional.
They ain't doing that no more. They did it already. When they expanded to the 64 team tournament, they got rid of it because they did used to have those play-in series. Like Jackson State has played in the play-in before. I know Howard played in the play-in. Like that play-in used to be a deal when it was on the 32 team tournament. But once they went to the 64, they got rid of it.
I mean, like plus, like in a tournament situation like that, you want to do everything you can to like preserve your pitching staff. And so if you got to play in a playing tournament, you're gonna like expend your best pitchers to win that game or win however many games you got to win to advance, and then you got to go into the next round and then do all that over again. Yeah, I mean that's why like pitching depth in any tournament style is so important. I mean, like you in a loser bracket, you gotta rely on the number 2, number 3 guys to try to navigate you through that, to hope to get back around to your ace again. In the later rounds, yeah. So like falling to like a loser bracket it's almost a death trap because it's like really hard to get out of unless you like have a really deep team to do that.
And think about it, man. They be piecing together 7-inning games. You know what I mean? 7-inning games.
Who playing 7-inning games?
I said in the regular season, they still be trying to piece together 7-inning games with their pitching staff.
But who's playing 7-inning games? All SWAC games are 9 innings.
Yeah.
They don't play 7-inning games. They play all 9s. But I get what you're saying.
It's 7 if you get SWAC.
Hey, but let me ask you this, Thomas. If you was going into the tournament with the team we had our senior year, what would you have done with the pitchers? Remember, Put started the first game, then Quail.
But see,
no, Omar started, not Quail.
Yeah, Omar started. Yeah.
Me personally, I would have came out the gate to jump out early with our best pitcher to at least pull off the first, to get game 1. Now maybe I just first game coming out, I would like to send a message. I would have started Put first game 1.
He did start game 1. He started game 1.
Mm-hmm.
I would have put game 1, just because that's our best guy at the time. Now maybe I wish, if was it Will?
What?
Put our starters. Our starters was Put during the season. It was Put, Will.
Will changed to closer by the end of the season.
Yeah, Will was the closer. It was Put, Quail, man, and Omar.
Yeah.
And O.
Mm-hmm.
So we was going into the tournament with only 3 starters.
And Dante.
Dante was the guy. Dante was the guy. I mean, but still at the same time, it still was like piecing together after Put, man. Because you didn't know how long Quail was gonna go. You didn't know how long Put was gonna go. Sometimes Put be on, sometimes Put be off. If it's off speed pitch wasn't working, we was in trouble. But like I said, if we had
we ain't gonna relive that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it's just one more arm. That's it.
Yeah.
It was the pitch. It's pitching. That tournament come down to arms, man. Just point blank period. The staff that get going and just eat up innings and not score runs, man. We didn't have a tournament.
But going back to that tournament route, if any of our starters had trouble, we had to score a bunch of runs, man.
We did.
We had to.
Good.
Now we play good defense, puck and shut the team down. But if any time we had any trouble out of anybody, we're like, man, we got to score today. We got to score today. And we all had that understanding. We all had that understanding that if we score runs, they at least give our pitchers some cushion.
Like, you joking, but you ain't lying, because we played against Alabama State one time, and that might have been the game Holloway talking about where he hit put out. Yeah, he came back in the dugout in the second inning. It was like 4-5-0, and it was like, hey fellas,
we gonna have to hit this out.
Let's get to it. Let's try to get 1 or 2 this inning. Let's keep it close, and we got him. Let's go. And we end up
bang it out,
blasting them. Mm-hmm. But you're right. It comes down to the pitching, man. That depth in pitching.
Well, when coach started making them trots out there, like, man, you don't know who he finna call.
Trots out there in the very first inning, by the way.
That man throwing a true freshman in tournament time.
All right, man. All right.
All right, man.
I gotta try something, big man. I gotta try something. First inning.
Man,
Omar, get loose.
I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about freshman, fresh baby. He out there. He out here. All right, fellas. Like, we're gonna have to hit today.
Ready, break.
Gotta hit. We gotta hit, man. We gotta hit.
And that we did.
When tournament time come around, like, these guys we're gonna recognize for players of the week. Don't got to worry about them at all. Once again, another spectacular week for guys on the mound, guys at the plate. Once again, another week with no pitcher for a player of the week. I don't know what's up with that, but anyway. Shemar Page, we talked about him top of the show. Grambling State, a perfect game against Alcorn State last Friday night. 7 innings pitched, no hits, no walks, no runs. Career high 13 strikeouts against the Braves. Cameron Bratton of University of Maryland Eastern Shore, complete game, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs, 3 hits given up in his start last weekend. Once again, another Savannah State pitcher, Enrico Peel, complete game, 4 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 1 hit. 4 hits in the win this past weekend for him. Eric Gonzalez, Jackson State, over the weekend, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs, 5 hits. And he started against Alabama State, which was also secured Coach Johnson's 500th career win. And those guys stood out, no other than Shemar Page, who pitched a perfect game.
And what y'all should notice is that these pitchers are starting to go a little longer, complete games. So they getting geared up for tournament time for the long haul.
Yeah, yes, that's what you want. That's what you want. And see, this is a number on top of Shemar Page's perfect game is that opposing batters are hitting 178 against him. With him said with a 2.68 ERA right now. So
you said a 2.68 ERA in college?
Yes, he got a 2.68.
Wow, that's impressive.
Exactly.
And you said he's also among the leaders in strikeouts too in the country. So that's hard to hit.
Yeah.
Now transition to the hitters of the week. We got Corey King, first place Alabama State over the weekend against Jackson State. He went 2 home runs, a double, 5 ribbies, 583 batting average, 5 RBIs. Just a very dominant performance over the weekend against the Tigers. John Garcia of Grambling State. Ralph was really big on this guy.
That's his boy.
He had 712 RBIs in a series. That was against Alcorn State. 2 home runs, a double, and 6 runs batted in.
No, he scored 6 runs. He had 12 RBIs, Slim. He scored 6 runs too.
Yeah, 12 RBIs, man. Like in the 3-game series, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph
And
done
wrapping
woke
it
him
up,
up. Ralph
yeah.
talk crazy about it.
Yeah.
I ain't talk crazy about him. I had to see if he was as advertised, man. I've been following him close. I like catches that can hit.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, he done jumped up to number 3, man. He got a what is average? 3.97.
I got something else on John Garcia coming later too.
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
We call it a tease in the business. And wrapping it up is Marcos Castillo, Coppin State, 438 over the weekend, 7 hits, 6 RBI, 2 runs scored, a home run, and an impressive 5 stolen bases for Castillo this past weekend.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, those were your Boys on the Hill players of the week on the hitter side. Garcia hitting 700, Ralph. That's pretty impressive, right?
Bro, I don't think people really understand the workload as a catcher, trying to also be one of the more offensive guys for your team. That most times you're gonna get a guy, either he's gonna be a really good hitter or he's gonna be a really good catcher. When you find that combination of the two,
you got you something.
You got you something. You got you something very special. You have something very special. You have a Pudge type and a Yadier later, because Molina wasn't a good hitter when he first came up. He developed into being a good hitter. Then I could say from some good college catches, a Brad Cressy was more of an offensive guy than he was a defensive guy. Buster Posey may have been Buster Posey might have been the most versatile of the catches.
Yeah.
What's the dude name? Zanino?
Mike Zunino, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Mike Zanino, Waiters, some of those guys coming out of college.
Joe Mauer, another guy.
They were more offensive minded guys, but boy, I like Garcia. I like him a lot.
I do.
Yeah, talking to Coach Hernandez with Bethune-Cookman last week, he said like he don't even care if the catcher can hit or not. Just like call the game well, be able to throw, manage the staff. Like we have a guy like Garcia out there hitting 700 in the series. I mean, that's a bonus behind the plate.
Right.
And he called a perfect game too. So
exactly. So that was an outstanding weekend for him.
Yeah, it was.
And now, did you know?
Slide. Here we go. Did you know?
Slide.
Slide. Did you know? Speaking of Grambling, John Garcia and Cameron Buford are both in the top 5 for home runs and RBIs in conference play. John Garcia has 7 home runs with 47 RBIs, and Cameron Buford has 10 home runs and 39 RBIs.
Yes, Cameron is actually leading the conference in home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And John is second. All right.
Slide. Here we go. Benedict College, Brandon O'Connor has 91 stolen bases on the season. He needs just 7 more to break St. Leo's Cisco Johnson's mark of 96. He should get that by this weekend, right? You think?
Yeah.
They play Savannah State this week. They actually played Claflin last night, so I hadn't checked to see how many he had after last night's game.
How many games they got left?
Just say last week.
3 regular season games. I don't know if they're going to qualify for their conference tournament or not, but if not, he has these last 3 games this weekend against Savannah State.
I say send him, coach. Send him.
The speed guy.
Yep, speed guy. Send him. Let him rip.
Don't start that.
Think about it, man. He's only been thrown out like 8 times all year.
That's money. Yeah.
Who the catcher that threw him out? Like, who was that?
It don't matter.
That's what I want to see. Like who was able to get him out? Did they do a pitch out? Had to.
Man, 91 stolen bases, man. I wonder how many colleges, how many teams he has more stolen bases than as an individual. And he has another teammate that has 50. So They some bandits, man.
Yeah, there's some track stars, man.
Out there. Slide. Okay, Delaware State, Scott Martin in 2001 and Bree Underwood in 2002 share the MEAC single season RBI record with 77. As you know, the MEAC has fallen some hard times when it comes to like holding on to their baseball teams and teams in general. But this accomplishment will always stand out for the Hornets. Like, slide. Jackson State going way back in the record books now, Ralph. Jackson State pitcher Earl Sanders was drafted 26 in the overall in the first round of the 1986 draft. And Ralph, why is this so significant?
Because he's from Jackson State, man. That's why I put it on him. I ain't gonna even lie.
Yeah, silly, bro. You silly, man.
Oh man.
Hey, but yeah, man.
You want me to lie?
Yeah.
I thought this had some like larger meaning or something like that. No, he's just from our school.
No, but the year he got drafted, he was the pitcher, player, and hitter of the year in the conference. Yeah.
That's
But no, every week I'm going to start on the Did You Knows. I'm going to give the draft history of SWAC baseball because people need to understand that we had our first rounders too. You know.
Yeah, we've been on. Yeah, that's a thing.
We go inform the masses. I know NFL draft is Thursday night and they all getting ready for that, but we're gonna get them some HBCU baseball draft history as well. Yeah. So you know, and I think I'm gonna start throwing that in there with the Did You Knows every week. Because the MEAC has a actual record book for all of their season and career. So I'm gonna start giving you information on that and the SWAC draft history. People need to know. We're gonna educate the people.
Yeah. And then another tidbit, shout out to Tougaloo with Coach Earl Sanders. Coaches there, they named the field after him this year. So
yeah,
you know
they did.
That's a big accomplishment right there for him. For our friend, our buddy.
The old heads.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I actually saw somebody, an athlete, wear a Tougaloo hat on the press conference. I want to say, was it was it Durant? Kevin Durant, I think, had a Tougaloo school hat on. I want to say it was Kevin Durant.
You don't know nothing about it. Somebody gave that to him.
But I'm just saying, though, still.
You know,
it probably was Chris Paul or somebody like that.
Yeah, Chris Paul probably gave it to him. Yeah,
Chris Paul stay rocking a black college gear.
Yeah, it's dope though. I like the fact that they doing it, and everybody just need to keep doing it and keep doing it because the thing is that if you put our tradition against their tradition don't mean nothing without us. When we was over here doing it way before they open the doors and say, "Hey, come on in." You know, we was doing it, and then you got to think about we was doing this, and we still wasn't getting the opportunities to even get drafted, to get opportunities to go to the league. All that didn't really happen till the early '80s, late '70s. So you know, we got a lot of history. A lot of accomplishments that if it was actually put on paper, man, you know, these Power Five need to be giving us some money.
Hey man, why y'all didn't tell me this part of my head right here was just shining with that light hitting it, man?
Man, bro, I thought that was your part.
Man, did you see he just put a fingerprint on his forehead?
He sure did.
Go away.
He did.
Like I'm sitting there looking, I'm like,
why?
Right.
Thank God I ain't got nothing. What is it? That Beijing, whatever it is. I ain't got nothing.
Yeah, the Beijing, all that would have came off.
Hey, the big neck. Running down my face.
Running down the face.
So this week, all right. So fellas,
If y'all notice, Slim the only one that ain't got kids, and his hairline is just straight all the way in, filled in. He's still
Slim ain't stressing.
It ain't filled in. Like I don't got no stress.
How y'all
Slim's still not an adult yet, man. Y'all don't understand that.
Have y'all also noticed every episode his house get more and more distinguished? You know, at first he had the goat skin chair, right? Now he got the Basquiat above him now.
You see that? I saw that too.
You see, he got the Basquiat.
Look at that. What is that? Magnifique. Okay.
Okay. This is a painting from my wife's brother.
It's better than Basquiat.
Like a very scenic beach scene. You see the water in the background there.
They just took a picture of their backyard, didn't they?
No rocks. You see the mountains in the distance. Yeah, man. It's
But you got a laser pointer?
No, this is a Christ the King Miracle Church.
Big finest.
Yeah. Here's that. Yeah, so like over the coming weeks, you're gonna see like more of my estates.
Right. Like I said, it's getting more and more distinguished. You're gonna have old Pravazine, what's it called? Fabergine egg gonna be on the side of it.
Let's talk about Ralph's artwork.
Candles in the background and everything.
That ain't mine.
Who is that, Ralph?
Hey man, I'm in the arts and craft room because I got put out of my office downstairs, man.
Hey, Ralph the one to one of them cranky paints, man. Ralph the one of them cranky paints.
That ain't mine. That ain't mine. That ain't mine. I'm in the arts and craft room. I got put out my office downstairs.
Oh man,
I had to come to the arts and craft room.
Oh man, right. Yeah, that's that one of one he had though. Hey, he loved it too, boy. He said, "Hey, yes sir."
Hey, man,
that was about
hey, bro. Hey, girl painted that, man.
Hey, I like the.
Hey, my girl got some skill. No, she can paint for real, bro. She got some skill. Like she did that out the rip. Like she got some skill. So you need some painting, hit the boy up. She can get you hooked up. Arts and crafts all the chain. Yeah. Holla at your boy.
Nah, I ain't no art type.
How much you charge?
Hey, you gotta negotiate that with her. Hit me up in the description in the comments below. Wait, we'll get you fixed up. Holla at your boy.
You know, Slim want one of them superhero paintings, you know.
Hey,
he got the English house, you know, he gonna have the little suit on with the little hand in the pocket.
All right, man. Let's get all right. Here the pick'em results from last week.
Look like one of the first free slaves in Europe or something.
No, you're going too far, man. Way too far, Thomas. You're going way too far, man.
Really slow. Really.
All right.
First one they let out.
I don't know, man. I guess because I'm like winning the pick'em this year. So that's
oh my God, here we go. God.
Yeah. Check out the standings. First of the matchups, Alabama State knocked off JSU in the series 2-1. Bethune took the series against Valley 2-1. Florida A&M, the same to Alabama A&M 2-1. Grambling State and Prairie View both swept their series. Texas Southern took 2 of 3 from Southern. And now, over the weekend, starting from the bottom to the top, Ralph 4-2. Thomas Black getting back in it, 5-1.
My thing is, why, if we got the same record, why your name got to be at the top?
Look, man, don't question God, man. Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Hey, man. Okay. That's the order that I call our names in entering the show.
No, man, you don't gotta explain it, man. People know why. Man. People know why my name is first.
That's the order that we call the names coming into the show, bro.
Man, hey, Ralph, don't listen
to
the
overall record. Let's go through the overall record.
We ain't listening to Sir Kendrick. All right.
From the bottom to the top, we got Ralph Jeezy, 24-15. He's tied with Thomas Black. 24-15. Watts is 29-10, and I'm leading everybody at a robust 30-9 on the season.
Man, you 1 weekend away with being down there with us.
Listen, bro. You talking all that? Hold on, let me get this off the screen.
Right,
because you just making it seem like you acting like Mel Kiper here.
Yeah,
like you Mel Kiper or something.
No, I don't. I'm not wrong like Mel Kiper is. You see the record, right?
We are literally all separated by 1 weekend of games.
Like I said,
yeah.
You miss You've been saying that all season though. This
Is
the
it not
pattern,
the
man.
truth? Slim.
Okay, then, but like I'm several games ahead of y'all, man.
So right now, what he gonna
Slim.
do? He gonna
Hold
always
on.
pick the ones we
Hold on.
got, so the
Now,
record can't
okay.
change.
So now I'm gonna show you how I'm finna mess Slim up with his math. Cause he ain't good with algebra now. So Slim, you up by 6 games. It's been 6 weekends. So basically, you've had a record. You've been basically one win better than everybody 1 week. That ain't astronomically better.
I got 30 wins. You got 24 wins. Okay.
Hey,
I'm gonna
he's
let
Sir
you.
Man
Kendrick
trying to do
Marshall
long
this
division
week.
explain why he in third place. I don't get it, man.
Sir Kendrick Marshall.
Okay. At the end of the year, when you losing this, don't worry about it.
Oh, it's a win. I'm gonna lose. Okay.
Hey, and we ought to add the tournaments as pick'ems.
We gonna keep regular tournament time? Oh yeah, he
I'm
definitely
talking
finna
about
lose.
SIEC too.
Oh yeah.
Let's do that.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Man.
Bet. All right. So first up, we have the number 1 and number 2 teams in the East. Bethune and Alabama State.
Who you going with, Marshall? You lead it off, so you can't be playing it.
Since
Playing
you the
defense.
clubhouse leader, Tiger
Right.
Woods,
You
Mr.
lead
Clubhouse
every
leader.
pick.
I'm wearing red like Tiger do. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alabama State. They're in first place. They one of 2 teams in the whole conference with a overall winning record in the SWAC. So I'm going against our friend Coach Hernandez this week.
I'm going. I got to stick with my people, man. I've been going with Alabama State. I've been going Alabama State all year, man. So I'm gonna stick with that.
What?
All right. This is gonna be a tight series, but I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna go with Bethune for the wild card. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm trying one up on you, Slim. So I got that.
So I think it's a toss-up on Friday night. Even though Mr. Peel, my bad, Breon is undefeated at 7-0 in the SWAC. Lewis is I think he's gonna get a guys. He's gonna battle for Bethune. Then you have McIntosh for Alabama State on Saturday and Nolan on Saturday for Bethune. I think it's gonna come down to Sunday.
Johnny Holstaff.
I really think it's gonna come down to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the better hitters?
If I had to, they evenly matched.
That makes Sunday even worse.
I think this series is gonna come down to who makes the least number of mistakes, because there is evenly matched as you could possibly match 2 teams. Whew. I'm gonna go with Bethune. Drama for nothing, huh?
I mean, it's a split, so I'm either gonna gain one on Slim, or I'm gonna drop the last place below you. So
next up, we have the Battle of Louisiana.
The party by the bayou.
Where you at, Slim?
I'm going with Grambling, man. They on the roll, man.
Stop picking the same
Oh,
ones.
why you getting mad? Man, might be struck out or something. Like, dang.
Y'all want me to pick? I'll pick first on this one.
No, it don't matter, because I mean I'm gonna go with my picks anyway. I don't slide out. Last time I did that, I lost, so I'm always gonna go with my first.
The G-men have been playing some great baseball as of late. I want to say they're on the 6-game winning streak. They've been scoring a lot of runs. Their pitching has started to come around. I'm gonna go with the G-men to beat Southern in this series.
Yeah, I agree. Gremlin's playing good at the right time, so I'm gonna go with Gremlin on this one as well.
I'm going with Grambling.
Slim.
I said Grambling.
Oh, my bad.
That's
Thomas
straight
got mad, man. He went to rage when I said Grambling.
Yeah, that anger gotta come out.
All right. Now,
Ooh.
the Bulldogs are coming from up on the hill to our dear old college home. You know what to do. Pick.
Man, Ralph, this is so tough one, man. Like,
It ain't tough for me. I'm going with Jackson State.
Yeah, it ain't tough for me neither.
I'm going with Jackson
I'm
State.
trying to make the smart pick, man. Like,
Make a smart pick.
I'm trying to, man. I don't know, man. Like,
Don't say A&M, man. Come on, you know you want to.
all right.
Say it,
I'm gonna
please.
go. I'm gonna go against the grain and pick Jackson State.
Ah,
Because I think they do, man. They played a really tight series against Alabama A&M. I mean, Alabama State last week. They lost 2 out of 3, but they were not outclassed, and I think they could take 2 or 3 at least against Alabama A&M this week.
man, I said sweet. We need to start getting some games back.
Our next series, we have West leading Prairie View versus Alcorn.
You know who everybody picking the same team is. Who going?
Yeah, we going with that purple and gold.
We stupid. All right, next up, Texas Southern and UAPB.
I'm going with the Tigers in this one. I mean, Pine Bluff, man, they're a sneaky good team, but I don't think they have the best to keep up with Texas Southern.
With that being said, Slim, who win the fight? A tiger versus a lion. Who win?
They're not playing this game in the jungle, so I'm going with the Tigers.
The Tigers.
I'm with you, Slim. I'm with you, Slim. They playing this game on the field. I'm going with Texas Southern too.
Yo, I'm going with Texas Southern too.
I'm going with Pine Bluff.
Against the grain, man.
I might pick up something. Who knows?
And finally, the Rattlers of FAMU have to go down in the valley deep to itty bitty.
Now, Valley been playing teams tough, man. Like the first place team or
yes,
last place, they played tough. They played Bethune-Cookman tough recently too. But I'm gonna go with the Rattlers in this one, man. Florida A&M been playing some good ball all year long, and I don't think that stops against Mississippi Valley State.
I'm going with FAMU.
Yeah, I'm going with FAM too. I'm going with the Rattlers.
We're going with a sweep.
Ooh.
But I think the series is gonna be a lot more competitive than we. It's gonna be all the series are gonna be competitive. They've shown us that all year. I think teams starting to separate themselves now a little bit too, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like last week was, if any indication, that's the case coming down the stretch.
You know, it's 15 games left in conference. 15, but maybe 12 now since they played the first game already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. It's these 12 games determine what you gonna do come the end of May.
You determine seeding, determine if you get in the tournament, determine a lot of stuff. Just 4 series left, man, and you got to ramp it up right now.
Like we had to take the tournament right now. We had to look at it from the standings that we have right now with the tournament. Yeah, Alabama State right now playing the best baseball. they seem to be the favorite, but I think if you took and whenever it folds out, I really think the team that's gonna win it is gonna be an unexpected team. Because I think some teams still have not hit the stretch where they played their best baseball yet. Think about that. It's April and some teams still have not played their best baseball. Like they still been up and down. Jackson State, for instance, they've been up and down all year. They haven't hit that one streak yet. Normally, we would had a 10-game win streak somewhere by now. We haven't hit that yet. You know what I'm saying? I think, like I said, it's gonna be about who's playing hot, who's hot come the end of May, and who knows what's gonna happen. Because it seemed like Texas Southern was hot early in the year. They cooled off a little bit. Seems like Southern's cooled off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Pine Bluff isn't playing that well right now. Valley is kind of up and down, but they're competitive. You know, it's gonna be scary.
Yeah, I mean, like talking about like tournament time, like it's unpredictable as always. I know Alabama State's the favorite, probably to come out of the SWAC. Actually, D1 baseball came out with their projections of the tournament, and Alabama State was projected to play at Southern Mississippi in that regional. That would include Alabama and Auburn. So I mean, like they're handicapping the Hornets to make the tournament, but you never know, man. Like Jackson State was like literally like 1 out away from making the tournament. They were favored to make the NCAA tournament, and they lost in the ninth inning. So you never know, and that's why regular season is important. But like when you get in those games in June, that's when you really separate the men from the boys right there.
I agree with you, Slim. I really agree with you. So man, we got some interesting matchups this weekend. The SIAC closing out their regular season this week. They their conference tournament is actually Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Man, so it's supposed to be Mother's Day weekend. So see how much I can get away from the house. See if I can... Yeah, see how much I can get away from the house, man. But fellas, hey man, another great show with y'all, man. Blessed by the baseball gods to be here with y'all, man. Same bad time that week.
All right, fellas.
All right, bro.
Slim cut a cat home.
Yes, sir.
Nah, man, y'all boy be easy out there, man. Trying to get waiting on the sports information directors to return some emails, man.
Yeah, get y'all some guests on here. We got some prospects lined up that's really exciting and really could add to the show that y'all could hear from. But they're working on it though.
Yeah, wait.
We're
I ain't
starting
trying to
a
go
reputation out there in the blogosphere and on the internet and stuff. So coaches like us, they like our show. So hopefully we can get some of those inroads and get some interviews and some players with players as well and coaches too. So a reminder, as always, hit us up on all the audio streaming platforms as well as YouTube for this show and past shows that we've done. So once again, Ralph, it's time to go. Until next time.
It's Ralph Jesus. It's Slim Marshall. It's 5,000. And it's Thomas Black. We the boys on the hill. We the boys on the hill. We the boys on the hill.
Right, yeah.
What? Slim, don't